you going, everybody? You love your roses? I love my roses. Only till the time when it comes to pruning them, because everybody hates it. They get pricked and they're full of it. But we got to do it, because if you don't prune your roses, you ain't going to enjoy the flowers. So we cut them back about 2/3 of their size this time of year, and we open up the center so we don't get congestion as they grow, and we enjoy the beautiful blooms. Watch me how I do it. See that there? That's called canker. It's dieback. If you don't cut it off, it's going to kill your plant. Got to cut more off. Have a look at this, folks. Now, because on the outside you can't see the dieback, it doesn't mean the branch isn't dead itself. It's died on the inside. You can see the browning there, so the cambium layer's completely dried out. These need to be cut out. So it's not only cutting the plant on the outside when you see the dieback, you need to look inside on the end of the cut to see if there's any dieback, and if there is, cut it out. Now, when it comes to cutting back your roses, folks, you can have a couple of variants to it. You can cut it back very lightly, tip prune, and I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of tip pruning, and this is what I mean. Come up here, have a look at my hippies. These are my hips, and they cut back like that. That's deadheading, but not at this time of the year. See all the new swelling coming on? It'll always grow back from the closest bud to the second last bud there from where you've done a cut. And that's where it's going to burst out and end up growing all the way up to the sky. If you like a tall rose, you can do that. But if you like a small rose, every year I cut back to 2 buds, but sometimes I replace them as well. See all this growth in here? See all these gnarly bits in there? Now, I've been cutting back up here to 2 buds last year, this year here now, like that. But underneath here, we've got a bit of a mess going on, and we've got more growing underneath. So we've got layering upon layering and more growth in the middle. That needs to come out. We want to open up the center of the rose so it breathes beautifully. So let's just get rid of that completely. Yes, we're bringing it right down, but a rose will be very reactive. So the harder you cut it, the bigger it'll grow again, but from a lower point. The smaller you cut it, or the less you cut it on top, it'll grow, but maybe not as fast, but still tall at the end of the day, because it'll be so far away from the rootstock here where it's been grafted onto. So cutting back a rose this time of year, some people cut them back to a knuckle like this, nothing left. Others like to tip prune them, which is not bad, but I reckon you need to go harder. And my general rule of thumb in winter is 2/3. Cut 2/3 off the plant. Any more than that, it's getting a bit too close to the old wood, and then it becomes really soft. But you will get a beautiful bush on it come springtime. But we've got to feed them as well. First, we cut. Have a look at this one here. We've cut it once here in the past. The second time we cut it here, then we've cut it there. So we've been gradually, incrementally working our way up there again. But now I want to get rid of it completely, because I don't like that little hip that it's doing there. I'm going to cut it back there, get rid of that. And this one here looking for a bud, well, we cut it there last time. If I cut it below there, it'll sprout up here, which is okay because it's growing out this way, or I cut it here. It's also the aesthetics of it. Do you like the way it looks? I don't. Cut it off. Do you like that? No, I don't. Take it off. See that growing in it? I don't like that. You know, at the end of the day, you can cut it down really hard. And like I said before, it'll all grow back. Really soft and mushy, but it will grow back. This is one of the ugliest ones. Who's uglier? Yeah, go away. Every plant is different in its own shape, unless you started them from scratch and you pruned them identically every time you got out to prune them. In my case, that never happens. Sometimes I prune one plant, don't prune the other, and I'm left with an oblong sort of garden. One side is bigger than the other. Nevertheless, they always come back good at the end of the day. We cut that off completely down there. See this? Now we've got this crossover, which is okay. But when it does get too thick, now that's rubbing on here, but that's growing into the center. It's growing right up there. I don't want that there. That's a bit of a nuisance as well. It's too small. We've got too many other things. Now this thing here, see this thing here? That's a sucker. It's a bit of a sucker. See how it's growing straight out there like that? That, if I cut it off, will grow out to the sky. So I'm getting rid of this completely because I don't need anything to grow from down here below. I'm quite happy. Actually, I might leave the last bud there just in case we need to remove this one. Because sometimes you get rid of the old wood, that's this stuff here, because you get a bit of dieback like that if you see, or the plant is actually completely dying off and it needs a rejuvenation of the root system, and that's by cutting it all back at the top, and that could be through spring or summertime as well. And we have to have some young wood ready to replace the old. Congestion, 1, 2, 3, too much going on, don't need them. We've got dieback, canker. See the canker? Gone, no more canker. There's another one, got rid of that too. dieback, everywhere dieback. This is, look at that. That is just a really poor quality branch. And you know why? Because it's split. Found a split down here. Come around, have a look at this. That's broken there. Still holding on because there's a little bit of sap in that part of the bark here on this side. See, it's green there, but it's dry as a bone on that side there. Get rid of things like that, no good. Back to cutting, cut. Oh, we'll cut down there. This doesn't belong in here. Cut that off. There we are, have a look at this. Not too bad. And remember to spray between one plant and the other. Keep your tools nice and clean. And now that all the hard work's been done, the fun part begins. Superfood first, around the base. Just a sprinkle around like that. And not just around the plant, all the way down the line, because the roots grow everywhere. Even the English box is going to benefit from this. Next is the compost. Now with the superfood, it's about 2 handfuls per square metre. With the compost, you can be liberal, quite generous. And I'll put the whole bag here. We've got lots of roots here to feed. I love this compost. Look at that. Look at this. Delicious compost. Now this is beautifully made with recycled green waste, folks, which has been composted it down. Now you can see that I've pulled the mulch away so that I can apply my superfood, compost and the black grit over the top so that it can work almost instantly in the ground when you add water or when it rains. And now folks, the black grit. I've got some here from my bulk supply, and we just put a little bit around the plants just like this. Just like the man who salts his meat, we salt our garden. Every garden needs its black grit, folks, because every garden wants a big, strong, healthy root system with big, strong branches and leaves, beautiful flowers, and most importantly, delicious, juicy fruit. And while we're here, we'll just give some to this beautiful orange tree, because we like our fruit juicy and tasty and sweet. You want some too? Oh, come on, here's some for you too. Every garden needs some black grit, folks, and that's it. All we got to do now is cover it over with the mulch and give it a good watering in, then sit back and wait for the magic to happen. You can find all this on our website, vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasili Maresi.